Oh, hi, and welcome to Behind the Spires. I'm Ed, and this is...
Hi guys, I'm Molly, and we are your friendly neighborhood city employees.
Yes, come join us Behind the Spires, where we will bring the business of Frederick forward, highlighting updates on Frederick's projects, policies, and events.
Each week, we bring a special guest with us behind the spires, and today we're joined by council member Sarah Hempel Irani, who represents District 5 on the Frederick City Council. So we're going to talk about what she's hearing from residents, what it's like to be new to the council, and what issues are shaping Frederick.
Nice.
Yes.
If you're not watching us on video, though, you can catch our lovely mugs on YouTube, City of Frederick, Maryland. Of course, you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and all the other podcasting services.
And now, without further ado, after our commercial break, we'll be right back with Sarah.
Here's the City of Frederick's Manager of Sustainability, Jenny Willoughby, with a water conservation tip.
Check your home for water leaks. You can do this by listening to your toilet. If it continues to run after it's been flushed, you may have a leak. Check for drips in the faucet and make sure to fix those right away.
This April, join the National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation. Take the pledge today at mywaterpledge.com.
And welcome back.
And we are back, and we are here with council member Sarah Hempel Irani. Council member, Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And for those folks who don't know you yet, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my story in Frederick began when I was freshly graduated from college, and I moved here to chase this dream of being a monument sculptor. So I got a job working as an assistant to the former artist in residence at the Washington National Cathedral. So he had his own studio, and it was in Gaithersburg. And so I came to help him build sculptures. And after working there for a little while, one of the other assistants lived here in Frederick, and he said, "Oh, you got to come to Frederick." And as soon as I drove up 270, you know, where it sort of opens up, it just felt like, oh, you're here. You're here. Like I've come to someplace really special. And so it was love at first sight. I immediately rented a studio at the Blue Elephant on West 5th Street. And I've been there since. I've had other studios in and out. So I've been on 5th Street studio-wise. So I'm a sculptor. That's what my main job is. I'm sort of most well known for the Claire McCardell sculpture on Carroll Creek. And I'm currently working on a cemetery monument of an angel in marble.
Ooh.
Wait, tell us about that really quickly.
Sure. So after Claire McCardell, you know, I was doing some other small jobs, and then a client was looking for a really unique angel sculpture. She was building a monument in Glenwood Cemetery in Texas, and it's famous for its angel sculptures. And she didn't want to get one from a catalog. And believe it or not, there are absolutely catalogs where you can buy marble sculptures. And she wanted something really unique, really personal to her family. And so she found me online, and I had a little video on my website, and we connected and talked about it for many months. And I built a small model, and here I am, you know, sculpting drapery and wings by day, and here at the council by night.
That is
so
the
cool.
coolest coming to Frederick story I know.
Right? Well, you're one of the newest members of the city council. What brought you to the point of actually running, and what were people telling you when you were out knocking on doors?
That is a great question, and I could talk about this for a very long time. So kind of the short of it is, when I did the Claire McCardell sculpture, it was really a collaborative effort. The Frederick Art Club, which is 126 years old now, it's one of the oldest arts organizations still going, and they commissioned me to do this sculpture. And while we were doing it, I got to meet a lot of folks at City Hall. I worked with our Arts Commission, with the Arts Council, a lot of, you know, people who donate a lot of money to the arts. And so I really I was in the community, but I was really in the community during this process. And the unveiling was possibly one of the best moments of my life outside of family things. And I felt like we had worked together, and it took a long time. This was over the pandemic we were making this. we had this idea and we worked together and we made something really incredible and gave it to the city. And it was so deeply satisfying. And I remember when Mayor O'Connor gave me a commendation for my work in the arts. Like it almost felt like a birth certificate from Frederick. Like I was really from Frederick, and I'm a military kid, so I'm not really from anywhere. And so I a big ugly cried on the mayor. I just it was just such an incredible moment of that gift to the city. And so over the next few years after that, um, I just felt kind of a shift in my vocation, and I wanted to be able to serve the city in a new way. And when the charter changed and there were districts, and I had some encouragement from people who know me and people I met through that process. And I thought maybe I could. And I'm not gonna lie, like, running for office was very new, and it was really scary, and it took a lot of courage. I had to really fight back that, like, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "Can you really do this?" And, the more people I met out knocking doors, that was an incredible experience. I'd never done that before, and, people really wanna be heard, and so we had incredible conversations at the door. And a lot of things were just somebody was coming to them, and I would ask, and I introduce myself, and I would ask, what issues would you like me to bring to City Hall? And some people would say, I love it here. Like it's great, keep doing it. And other people had some things that were on their mind, and you know, somebody was listening.
Right.
And so I feel like I connected with person after person, and some of the issues that people brought up were traffic, and I'm sure that you'll hear that from everyone.
Yes.
And in some ways, that's a symptom of a growing city, of a vibrant city, of a city where people really want to be and really want to move from place to place. Uh, One of the things that I got involved in my own neighborhood was street safety. And when I talked to the Frederick Police Department, they know our neighborhood because we are always calling, asking about what can we do to make our streets safer for our kids and for there's a lot of pedestrians in our neighborhood. And so being able to work together with the neighbors and with the police department and the city, we were able to accomplish some things. And so I'd like to do more of that.
I love that. We were
Nice.
just talking to folks who the Weinberg celebrates its 100th birthday this year. And so we were talking to like what you just said is spot on the money of I think what makes Frederick so special. It's like people coming together
Mhm.
and like nothing is built in a silo. And you guys decided you wanted to do this statue and you did it. You made something beautiful. And I think that's so special and inspiring. And I just coming away from this week being like, we need more people like that. So you mentioned District 5, you mentioned the charter change. For people who don't know the different districts, can you give them a sense of the different neighborhoods and communities that make up District 5?
Absolutely. So I have walked every single street in District 5. So when people ask me, I don't know what districts I'm in. What neighborhood are you in, or what street are you on? And I'm like, oh yes, Buell. I walked that.
You're like a
street." Like, yeah,
GPS.
I am. Which was, I spend a lot of time downtown because my studio is on West Fifth Street and I live on West 7th Street, and so I have this kind of 2 mile radius where my whole life happens, which is really partially by design and partially good luck that this is the kind of life I wanted to have. And so I'm really familiar with my neighborhood, which is Villa Estates. And so that's kind of northwest of 15. 15 is our big barrier on the one end, and on the western side is Rosemont Avenue.
Mhm.
So if you're in Villa Estates and across 7th Street is College Estates, it's kind of behind the Giant Eagle, and then getting onto Opossum Town Pike.
Mhm.
And you have Fort Detrick, and you have FCC, and then there's Amber Meadows, which one thing I will say about Amber Meadows is almost everyone I talked to in Amber Meadows said how much they love living there. And so
Nice.
many people had lived there 30 years, 40 years, and 50 years. And I thought, I didn't even know this neighborhood was 50 years old.
Right.
And so anyhow, so I really enjoyed walking in Amber Meadows. And then if you go up north from there, there's North Crossing and Willowbrook. I'm sort of moving in my mind.
Uh-huh.
And then as we move to the west, there's all of the new neighborhoods, the Clover Ridge
Right.
and Kellerton is sort of the newest, and it's still being built. There's more people to come to District 5. And Whittier is kind of the biggest master plan neighborhood in Frederick. So I spent a lot of time in Whittier. In fact, the the first house I owned after living in a garage on West Fifth Street was in a townhouse in Whittier when it was still new. You know, you go to these neighborhoods, you're like, oh, I remember before this was built,
Yep.
and so it was cool to revisit Whittier. And also, the people in Whittier say that they live in the best neighborhood. And the people in Villa Estates will say the same thing. And so it's like when people say, I have the best dog.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you're absolutely right.
Right.
You know, there's so many great neighborhoods. And I don't want to miss Cannon Bluff over there. And there's Tuscarora Preserve up in the north. There's that new elementary school, the Yellow Springs.
Yep.
And Spout Run. There's a little neighborhood there. And there was an interesting memorial up there that I never knew about. There had been a fire at a farmhouse that had been on the property before it was a neighborhood. And so I loved learning all those quirky little things about all these different neighborhoods. And I loved seeing these little shops pop up. Like people had cabinets with bread for sale, a little QR code.
I love.
So I love the neighborliness
Yes.
that we see, and each individual neighborhood is unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been into this for a few months now, and I imagine walking all those streets and everything probably took a while.
Oh, absolutely.
But from this job, what has been different than what you expected?
Oh, I don't even know if I fully knew what I was getting myself into.
Mm.
I will say I there's a lot of learning, and I expected the level of learning. And I feel like I'm kind of going back into my graduate school brain and waking her up and saying, it's time to be able to read and focus. And some of the documents are legal documents and contracts, which does not make for easy reading.
Right.
Mhm.
So I'm really activating a part of my brain that I also teach at FCC, so it's not like it's completely dormant, but I loved being in school. And so it feels a part like I'm in school. I'm learning all these things. The people that I've met have been incredible. I think that the city of Frederick really hires some amazing people. And one of the highlights so far is during the blizzard, my daughter and I got to go with Chip in the
Yes.
snowplow.
DPW.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. And the 4 people we saw on the road were all stuck. And Chip did what he could to make sure that people were getting out. And so this real care for neighborliness. The juggle, I knew it would be a juggle with my other jobs and my family. Trying to figure out how to fit all those pieces together has been the biggest challenge, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, we all have jobs and different life situations, and I'm trying to arrange things so that I can be more focused while I'm here because I want to do a really, really good job.
Yeah. I feel like we have a lot of new faces on the city council that loved being in school. Like you guys
Yes,
are all
I
diving into
agree.
the the total like rules of procedure and all that
Mhm.
stuff, which is so awesome to see. So as someone who's worked as an artist in Frederick for quite some time, how do you think about the city's role in supporting the creative community, and how does that perspective shape how you approach your work on the council?
Oh, this is a great question. So I do think that the city of Frederick sees the arts as valuable, as an
Mhm.
economic driver, as a tourism thing, and part of the fabric of who we are. And I think that I bring a unique perspective as an artist working in Frederick, saying, this is what we need.
Right.
And I'm going to quote our council president who says about communities, don't build for us, build with us. And I have seen a tremendous effort to engage artists in the community because we all have different needs. And I will say one of the big needs that we have in Frederick is not just in the arts, but is affordability. And part of the reason that I have a studio on West Fifth Street is because at one time it was kind of run down. It was really inexpensive. There's this big old bread factory on the corner of Fifth and Market there that Becky Griffin bought back in the 90s, for a song. And different artists have been in there over the years. But Fifth Street is now pretty cool. And North Market Street is really hopping. It used to be on first Saturdays, nobody would come up and see us. And so now we get lots of folks going to Old Mother. And now there's a new restaurant coming. And there's a couple of galleries that have popped up and a brand new studio, Evoke Art Studio on East 7th. And so it's kind of like the creative side of town in some ways. But there are some folks who want to redevelop the building. And so we're looking for new studio space. And it's not just the folks here at this building that are looking for studio space. But over the past 25 years that I've been here, 26 now, when we've had these creative economy convenings, the artists are always talking about space, affordable space. We need space to make stuff. We need space to play instruments. We need space to perform. And it is mostly impossible for artists to be paying commercial market rate
Right.
rents for art studios. And a lot of what the artists bring, for example, first Saturdays, we do the wine and cheese, we have live music, we invite people into our studios, all to our own expense. And it's not the best venue for selling art, but it's a huge reason for people to come all the way up Market Street and patron all these other shops and go out to eat. And so we're participating in this whole economic endeavor
Mm-hmm.
without necessarily financially benefiting
Right.
personally. So I think that the city and the county, probably in partnership, has a role in providing some well below market value workspaces. I've been reading the Arts Council had a report done. They brought in a consultant, and I was on one of the panels with the consultant, and every single artist there talked about the space needs. And we have Artspiration now, and they're building out, and so that's a really exciting component to the arts economy. And I think it's important to remember that it's a whole ecosystem. It's not just one thing. One thing isn't going to solve it, but having several art galleries on North Market Street creates a reason for people to come. It would benefit the city if we had other spaces in
Mhm.
different neighborhoods that are drawing visitors, and also it creates vibrancy, in neighborhoods. When you have
Yes.
a big group of artists, it's going to create a vibe,
Oh,
as it
yeah.
were. And I was just traveling to Miami, and they have a whole district that has a lot of graffiti, and it's a tourist stop now.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing. They have murals that are 20 stories high. I mean,
Ooh.
absolutely amazing. And as a tourist, of course, I went there.
Yeah.
And we already have so many beautiful murals and a lot of public art. And I think it would be great to get it out into different parts of the city, but make sure that we don't price out artists, because the word on the street is that they want to move to Hagerstown or Brunswick or places where it's less expensive,
Right.
which, hooray for those cities, but I don't want to miss out on that. And I worry very much about the 22-year-old Sarahs who are moving to Frederick and driving up 270 and seeing that beautiful vista and thinking there's no place for me
Yeah.
anymore. And with the makerspace, also places to live. And so we're working really hard on the council on affordable housing. And I almost am reluctant to use the word affordable, because what is that? What does that mean?
does that mean?
What is affordable to one person is not for the next person. I like how Councilmember Shackelford uses priced appropriate housing, or housing for every stage of life and circumstance. And so, for example, I lived in an accessory dwelling unit for a little while, which is probably an Airbnb now.
Right.
So that housing piece serves the arts community, which is serving the greater community. But it also, our teachers and civil servants are being priced out of the city too.
Yeah.
So all those things I see, and it's challenging for me to talk about one topic because I really see how things are interconnected
Well,
in
sure.
an ecosystem.
It is one ecosystem.
Mhm.
And I was so interested, like when Layla came to the city and she was our guest and she told us about the economic impact that arts have on not just Frederick and communities writ large, and how much money it
Mhm.
brings in. It's like, yeah, it's a vibe and it's just good for everything.
Absolutely. And in the state of Maryland, we're the third best funded state for the arts, I think. I
Ooh.
love Arts Advocacy Day. I've been going for
Yeah.
years. We go to Annapolis, we meet
Yes.
artists from all over the state, and we advocate on behalf of Maryland artists. But Maryland artists generate $1.2 billion of economic activity in the state. I mean, it's a huge sector.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this funny anecdote. So when I first moved here, one of my first big jobs, I was doing these big marble sculptures for a church down in Potomac. And I was working on them, and I was thinking how much they were paying me, though I was living in a garage. So I wasn't making a tremendous amount. And I was hiring models and fabricators and stone carvers and all of that. And I thought, this church really could give all this money to the poor. And I thought, but wait, that's me, right?
Right.
Right. And so, and it wasn't just employing me, but I had several other people that I employed. And so I really saw it not as a extra. Like
Yes.
I was doing economic activity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ripple effect.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back to city council. For someone who doesn't tune into like the council meetings regularly, what are some of the issues that are on the table right now that could affect daily life in Frederick, especially for like the artists out there and the people of these different communities that you don't want to lose that character and everything. But like, what are some like important issues that are currently being talked about?
So I think one of the biggest issues that we're talking about is there was a housing needs assessment done in partnership with the county, and so the results of that are telling us that we need a lot more housing. I think it's like 1,400 units per year for the next 5 years, which is a lot. And one of the things I heard at the door was Frederick is growing too fast. There's more housing than what the infrastructure can keep up with, and I think that's very real.
Hmm.
And so we have to find this balance between providing more units, and some of that is going to be higher density, which some people think, really changes the character of a neighborhood. Though in the urban core, it makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
So how we approach housing and how we think about zoning, like we heard a presentation about form-based code, which is a completely different framework than the zoning system that we currently use. And I don't want to dive too deep into those nuances, but it does change the character of a neighborhood. And like an ecosystem, things are always changing. Things have changed tremendously since I moved here, and I continue to fall in love with the city all the time. So it's not. Um, I don't think change is necessarily bad, though it can cause some anxiety
Sure.
because if folks don't know what's changing, I did hear a lot from people that wow, this housing just popped up out of nowhere, and then I talked to the real estate industry and developers, and they're saying, "Oh, it just takes such a long time."
Exactly.
And so there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a communication disconnect between what's coming online, and I know that everyone on the new city council would like to improve our constituent services and the way that we're communicating with people, so they know like something is coming up,
Right.
something's coming up, and it takes 5 years or so or longer
Right.
to realize some of these projects. So I think that increasing density in some neighborhoods can cause the change that some people are excited about and some people aren't. And I think if we are including people in the process, including neighbors, asking them what they think, can go a long way.
Agreed.
And watch City Minutes because you will find out what is coming your way.
Hmm.
Um, so, to that end, before we wrap up, what is one way you would encourage every Frederick resident to stay engaged with the city and with what's going on with the council?
One of the beautiful things about local government is that I'm just your neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm not anyone special other than maybe a little crazy and a little brave to go out and
Yeah.
do this work. But I love it when neighbors approach me and ask me questions. And the easiest way is to go on the city website and get information and email directly. I really try hard to make sure that I'm responsive. Sometimes it's a lot and I don't always have answers for people. Uh, I know that not everyone can come to council meetings, but I love the city minute. So if you're on social media, it recaps so quickly, and people are busy, and so if there's something that catches someone's attention to look more into it, um, individual neighbors are not powerless. Like we all have a voice here, and so coming to city council and sharing your public comment, it takes a little bit of bravery, but I know at least for me, I am so happy when I see you there. I'm so happy when we have an empty boardroom, it feels like this isn't right. And we've had a couple of meetings with a lot of people, and I don't care if it goes really long. Like I love that kind of engagement. And I know that not everyone can be there at 6 p.m. on a Thursday. So, but pick up the phone, send a message. And I do want to try to find ways to get out into the neighborhood and go to your NAC meeting, find out where your NAC meets. And we're going to rearrange those a little bit to line up with the district. But I know that we all want to make a bigger effort to get out into the community. Because that's really what it's about for me is being a neighbor and listening well to the people who live in District 5.
You are so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very inspiring. Thank you so much for being with us today. Before we let you go, though, we
Hmm.
do have something that we call quick round trivia.
Oh, no.
And this is just answer whatever's the first thing that pops into your head. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to start, Ed?
I'll give us a go.
Okay.
All right, ready? Best coffee or tea spot in Frederick?
Ibiza.
Oh my gosh, that was so quick. Okay. Favorite piece of public art somewhere other than Frederick?
I like the Navy Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Ooh.
a nice one. If you could commission a statue or sculpture for anywhere in Frederick, what or who would it be?
Dr. Blanche Bourne Tyree, who is the first African woman doctor in Maryland.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Like
First
that.
of all, you're the first person who has not like skipped a beat when it
Oh.
comes to. So congratulations on that. Are you a Navy? You said you were military. Are you
Mhm.
Navy? Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. Council member, thank you so much for being with us today. And reach out. All of the Ask Your City Council emails are up there, phone numbers are up there. And so she wants to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And we will be right back.
I compost because I want to reduce the amount of waste that goes to the landfill every day.
I started composting with Compost Crew this year.
I turn my scraps into something useful for the environment.
City residents can compost for free.
So, sign up to start making a difference.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, Ed, that was Council Member Sarah Hempel Irani, one of the newest faces on the
Yes.
Frederick City Council, and someone who has literally
Literally.
left her mark on Frederick in bronze, no less.
Yeah, and I think what stood out to me was how she brings a really different lens to council.
Right.
As an artist and a sculptor, she's used to thinking about how things we build become part of the fabric of a community, and that's not a bad way to think about local government either.
Absolutely. And she talked a lot about District 5, which she knows very well after walking the streets.
Yeah.
And how those conversations that she had when she was running are shaping how she's thinking about the council. And that's something that we always want to remind people. Council
Yes.
meetings are, and work sessions are open to the public. And so you can come anytime. You can attend it in person or you can watch online.
Yeah, watch online. You can do the recaps like we were mentioning with the City Minute.
Absolutely.
It's not difficult to get your voice heard. They want to hear it.
Yeah. She said it a couple times. She was like, reach out to me.
Yeah. If you're curious about what's coming up or want to see what council has been discussing, like I mentioned, there's the city minutes. You can head to the city public meetings page and you'll find the agendas, videos, and all the different media materials there.
And other than the public meetings page, you can head to the frederickmd.gov/FY27 budget because it is budget season.
Budget season.
Still. And so we have a lot of open meetings that you can come and check out the different budget presentations from the different departments. If you don't have time to watch all of the public meetings we have, which let's be honest, sometimes do run a little bit long, we have been working on something new to make it easier to catch up.
That's right. Behind the Spires now has a short news update format where we highlight the key things residents may have missed, what's happening right now, and what to look for in the coming weeks.
Yeah, just think of it as like a quick briefing on what is going on in the city, new projects, major decisions, upcoming events, things like that.
And if you prefer 1 to 2 minute video recaps, you can also check out the City Minute updates, which break down recent council, planning commission, and HPC, the Historic Preservation Commission, meetings in plain language.
Those are available on our YouTube channel
Yes.
and all of our social channels. So there are a lot of ways to stay connected to what's happening in Frederick, especially during budget season.
That's right. And you know what? We want to hear from you.
We do. If you have questions,
Mhm.
topics, something you'd like to talk about on the show, someone you'd like us to interview, send us an email at behindthespires@cityoffrederickmd.gov.
Behind the Spires at cityoffrederickmd.gov.
That's right, Ed. Behind the Spires at cityoffrederickmd.gov. And if you enjoy the show, remember to like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and
Yes, yes, yes. And before we dip on back behind the Spires, we ask just a teeny tiny little favor. Tell your friends about the podcast. And if you get a chance, leave us a quick 5-star review. It's right in your podcasting app, and it helps more people discover the show.
yes, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yes, and remember, kindness costs us nothing. but it means everything. And we'll see you next time on Behind the Spires.
Bye.
Bye.